just sunrise. My first night out has just ended. It's a pretty good night. Had a few good sleeps. We've had really good wind. We're sort of beating quite strong into it, but we're ripping along at 7 knots. This boat doesn't normally do 7 knots constantly, so it's a bit of a squall right in front of me, but I think it might have passed by the time I get there. We're in the magnetic passage at the moment, right amongst reefs. There's actually reefs all around us here, but I can't see anything. This is the second morning. It's been 36 hours since I left Magnetic Island. We had sort of 2.5 metre swells with some 3.5 metre sets coming through. I went through a couple of reef systems, so for a few hours I was against the swell and the wind. That was pretty rough. Had to have the engine running with the sails up to get through there. It was pretty ugly. It was just waves coming over the boat, everything's wet, a lot of salt water inside. I got completely drenched a couple of times. That was at night too, couldn't see anything, but yeah, it's all part of the adventure. Feel pretty small out here, and it goes over and over in my head. What if that goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? What if that breaks? You can't rule out anything and everything, especially in an old boat like this. But for most things, there is a backup or a way to get around it. And yeah, I just have to trust the fact that I've done the best I could with the preparation. I slept really well. You know, sort of weird because of getting thrown around. I slept up here in the cockpit a lot, and also quite a few hours down below. It's just a matter of confidence as well, being able to go below and actually sleep, and just trusting that everything's going to keep working up here. Yes, I'm feeling good. I haven't eaten really. I've been drinking enough water. I've had a couple of bananas, and I made some 2-minute noodles last night. It was a bit rough to go downstairs and cook, that was all. It was just real hard to stand there, just getting thrown backwards and forwards, and sort of spilt half my 2-minute noodles, and they ended up making the floor all slippery, so that was bad. And well, here we are, approaching my little destination here. Here it is. I'll pull in behind this little island here. I can't describe the colours here, check it out. This won't even do it justice, but look. Oh my god, this is so sick. Just when I jumped off the front of the boat then and came up, I made a horrible discovery. Check this out. That thing holds the whole mast up.
Well, wasn't this built so the front wouldn't fall off?
Well, obviously not.
How do you know?
Well, because the front fell off.
One of the main rigging pieces. So I changed all the rigging, but I didn't change that part, but I did check it and it looked very strong, but obviously the stainless steel was just past its use by date. If that snapped when I had the sails up in strong wind, I probably would have lost the mast and the rig, like the whole thing. I would have been screwed. Well, not screwed, not as in dead, but bad. I sort of noticed that the rigging was loose yesterday, looser than normal, and I was going to check that these days, but now I know why. So I'm going to have to figure something out, because I can't, there's no one else that's going to fix it. At this stage, I don't want to go back to Townsville. I'm 400 kilometres away from Townsville, and I'm about 1,200 away from Papua New Guinea. So I'm going to try and jerry rig it so that it can hold, and I'll have to just sail under less sail that I would want, but that's not really a massive problem. The weather looks good, that's on my side, not too strong a winds. But it all depends if I can jerry rig it. I'm going to have to figure it out. What a gutting. This is the worst. Well, it's not the worst case, but it's pretty shit. Wow, talk about working on boats in beautiful places. It's amazing here. I keep looking around thinking I'm going to see sails. Anyway, I'm feeling a little bit more positive. I've had time to ponder and put my mind to work on how I can fix this problem. And I think I've come up with something that'll should work Pretty confident. So I found these parts on the boat that I don't use. Taking these off, I'm cutting them in half and I'll screw them on each side. And then I'll use thick halyard rope to jerry rig it. Let's see if it works. That's the first step, so I have to do another one on the other side, the same. So at least I've got some fixed point on the hull now. Relatively strong. Several hours later, progress update. Still a beautiful day. Still no one here apart from me and the birds, and I'm sure millions of fish. Anyway, things are progressing. Pretty confident. Check it out. So, I've hooked ropes onto my fixing points. I bought all this, these are new head sail sheets, so I'm pretty confident they're strong. Putting 2 on each side, got a big shackle. I've tightened them as much as I can, and then I'll do the shackle up to tension. As you can see, it is now sunset. I've spent the whole day since 9 AM working on this problem. Fixed it as good as I can. It's not going to be possible to get any better. I've retensioned the rig. Everything's holding. It's not as tight as I would have it under normal circumstances, but I don't want to tighten it up more than this. It all looks good. It feels pretty good, but it's not good enough for me to keep going to Papua New Guinea. So I've had to make a very hard decision. Well, for me it's hard because I just hate going backwards. I only look forwards, and to go back to Australia now is sort of admitting defeat in my eyes, but it's not. It's just one of those things, and I just have to accept it. I'm going to go to Cairns. It's exactly the same distance as Townsville, but a much better angle for the wind. It's straight west, basically, a little bit north. So I have nearly downwind. I have a perfect angle all the way. And it's just a straight line. I don't have to worry about reefs or anything, pretty much. I'll never be back at this beautiful place again in my life, I don't think. So tomorrow morning I'll spend a few hours on the island. I'll film it, take a few photos and look around. Well, I've come ashore on this beautiful, mind-blowing island. I feel like I'm the only person who's ever been here. It's amazing. The water is just the most unreal turquoise colour. The first thing I check out all the birds. There's millions of them, they're everywhere. They were flying around checking out my drone, and they just nest on the beach. Let's go back to Australia. About 3 hours into the sail now. Islands are long gone. It's about an hour and a half before sunset. Everything's going well. So I've just got the mainsail up. Cruising along nice. We're averaging 6 knots at least. And there's no pressure really on the forestay, which broke. So hopefully we'll keep this wind in direction all night and all day tomorrow, and we'll make it no problem. Just going up to check the fix I did now. All seems to be holding pretty well. 6:30 PM, just got dark. It's very, very dark now. We sort of got surrounded by clouds, but I think the weather's all good. It's not predicted to be any squalls or anything, so I'm just leaving the main up. But I can't see anything, it's dark as. I'm just sitting here watching some Delos, SV Delos. I've been making videos for years. Sailing brothers and girlfriends. They were the first sailing vlog that I started watching before I bought the boat. When I first had the idea to do this, I started googling sailing and came across them, and I've been watching them ever since. Amazing. Land ho! I can see Australia again. I'm about 7 hours away from Cairns, from anchoring. In about an hour I'm going to start coming through the Great Barrier Reef again, as you can see here. And just been on the sat phone talking to border control, making sure that I'm allowed back in. It's all good as long as it's an emergency. So I'm about to start work, taking the re-rig off. Ta-da! This is the broken part. Look at it. When I changed the new rigging in the Herald Beach, obviously I checked this part very thoroughly, scraped the paint off a lot of it. I didn't take it off the boat though. I guess that's my mistake. But stainless steel is a funny thing. It looks amazing, it looks good, shiny. Clean it after 10 years, it's still shiny, it's still beautiful, no rust, and you think, oh, this is the best material ever. But it fatigues. And this is what happened. Look, snapped in half. Could have cost me the whole rig and half my life.